Welcome, INFR fans, to the INFR After Hours. I am your host, Ryan Davis, and there's no better first guest to have on for the show than my good buddy, Mr. Ray Champ.
Thank you, Ryan. So excited to be here. Big things happening here at the 48th annual Indian National Finals, and I'm excited to be here with you on this show. Thanks for having me.
You bet, man. Like you said, 48 years. We're 48 years strong, 48 years running good. What are we, 20 years now in Vegas?
Since 2008, that was the
Yep.
first time we were here. 2008.
So about 16 years
Yes,
now.
sir.
16 years strong at the South Point. Shout out to the South Point. Thank you for hosting us.
Definitely.
Ray, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from the Crow tribe in southern Montana, Crow Agency, Montana. My family, we've always been raised around horses. They're racing family, rodeo family. My grandfather, John Holdsdenemy, was a tie-down roper, and it just rubbed off. And I tried to compete, found out later on that I talked better than I competed, and that's where I found my niche and have been a part of Indian Rodeo, like you said, since the first year we were here, and been so blessed in my life to be able to share my gift of my voice with all of Indian country around the world.
Because you've done this forever. I mean, you're kind of the face of Indian Rodeo, right? Like, you've been doing this for so long, built this thing from the ground up. You used to run this thing and work music by yourself and announce by yourself, Like, it's an honor, honestly, to have you back every year. Like, I don't know if people understand that, but
I'm,
this is
I'm
outstanding.
I'm very humbled that you say that, and thank you. It was a team effort, a group effort. It was a bunch of minds that loved rodeo, knew that we had the athletes that were competitive, and the like-mindedness came together, and we all grew together. It wasn't just me; it was a group of people, and from the gate openers to the shoot stripper. I mean, everybody. We all want this to be better and bigger, and that laid the groundwork for you and your team. And we're developing, we're improving, and that's what's exciting about this. It's all for something positive. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, like you said, and I mean, I think I've heard a couple of people different, or a couple of different people say, pardon me, that the personnel list has almost tripled
Right.
since they came down to Vegas.
Yeah, we used to have a skeleton crew, and we worked long days and short nights, and it. I'm happy to see that. Like again, it has grown into this now, and we're doing things like this on social media and keeping up with technology and bringing in new faces and new players, and we're constantly improving, and that's what life's about is trying to be the best at what you do. So it again, I'm really excited to be here with you, Ryan.
Indian Rodeo is here, and it's not going anywhere for a long, long time. Ray, let's talk about the Tour Champions of 2024. Let's start off in the bareback riding. Stephen DeWolf, 22 plus $1,000 earned this year, an absolute dominant summer. He was a Tour champ last year, rolling into the 2024 final strong. Another Tour championship under his belt. What are we looking to see from him?
Steven is a couple times, 2 or 3 times tour champ, and this guy is a beast. He wants to win this title. He's second place, notably $11,000. He's got over $10,000 lead. I got to look at the standings. He struck at every single rodeo he entered. I think almost every single rodeo. He won first, second, or third, and that's what gave him that dominating performance. I know Steven, he's going to come in here, ride every horse jump for jump, and try to win every go round and try to leave here not only the tour champ, he's got that gold buckle on his mind.
Gold Buckle Dreams. He's chasing after it.
Yes,
And
sir.
I think he's coming in with a vengeance this year because it's always been so close. The times that he's won the tour, from what I remember, he's always been right there. It's been just a fingertip away. But this is a year I think he's going to get it done.
And he's upped his game as far as his own personal development and growth. I was announcing some pro rodeos this year, and I was happy to see that he's got his sights set further up. He's looking at different goals now, and stepped into the PRCA. So with that being said, his training regimen has gone up. He's working harder, so he should be. It's not going to be a gimme. Let's I don't want to lay it like that, but
Never
he
is.
definitely is healthy. He's ready, and he's going to probably be one of 2 or 3 guys in my pick for that's going to be on stage with us Saturday night.
I don't want to take up too much time, but I do want to highlight something here on this, like you were saying about having your sights set on something a little higher. But I don't want to miss the fact at all that the INFR has produced top notch talent into the PRCA, the PBR, the WPRA. Like we have a lot of players who are in the PRCA and they're doing strong. We got a couple national finalists on the lineup this week. We have, like you said, past world champs. People have gone on and done great things in the PRCA and PBR, and the foundation that the INFR has built for those cowboys and cowgirls, second to none, right?
I like to think of it like everybody who's anybody came through here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
as far as being a tribal member, I love that Danielle Lohman is making the NFR. Dustin Bird's been there. Eric Rogers, Aaron Sinigen. You know, the list goes on, and it's cool to see these younger kids, Jacoy Hale, the Batoni boys. You know, they're setting their sights to. They're here as champions, but they've got the confidence to move on. I love the term confidence breeds success and success breeds confidence. And that's what we're seeing a lot of that. And I love that it encourages the youth. They have something to look forward to when they see these guys out there doing it, guys and girls.
Exactly. So when they do make it to the NFR in December, shoot, I've already been here before. I've already seen the bright lights of Vegas. You know, I'm
Exactly.
ready to go.
Exactly. I love it.
To continue on with the tour champions in the saddle bronc riding, we got Creighton Curley, bull riding, Taj Wells, nearly $15,000 earned for each of those two cowboys. Ray, you know a little bit about those two.
Creighton Curley has been riding in the PRCA ever since he won his first title. He is he's definitely a player that's going to be one to be reckoned with. It comes down to the draw this week. We've got, I think it's over 30 native stock contractors who have all brought stock, my father-in-law included. They they try to bring their quality horses, and hopefully they can get matched up with the horses. But Creighton, as far as I know, healthy, riding really good, had a great year. He didn't travel to a lot of tour rodeos, but the ones that he did, he capitalized, and that's what brought him here number one.
Exactly. Let's talk about that a little bit too. This year, we didn't have the last chance qualifier.
Right.
This year, it's all on a money basis with those INFR qualifiers still going on. So we had tour rodeos that were automatic qualifiers. If you win that, obviously you qualify, and then throughout the summer too, you just kind of keep going down the line. But
Correct.
you kind of had to go a little bit to win. There was no coming down to the South Point the Friday before the final started and thinking that you're going to punch your ticket. You kind of had to be here throughout the whole summer and putting in your hours, putting in that windshield time. You know, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you had to be here. And you had to strike. Especially if you're a guy like Creighton Curley who's going to circuit rodeos, going to different associations. He's got to make every rodeo count to be able to come in here as one of the top 10 or 12 guys that they bring in. But when he strikes first or second at each of the 5 or 6 tour rodeos that he goes to, that's what brings him in number one. So I think he's going to be definitely one to watch amongst a group of talented saddle bronc riders.
And that Taj Wells, what do you always say? Hotter than what is the saying that you say? I can never get it right. It's crazy. You gotta come on.
I brag on Taj. I say he's hotter than a gravy train with biscuit
That's
wheels.
it. That's it. Yeah.
Taj, in my mind, is the perfect role model as an athlete, as a student athlete. He's just a senior in high school. Taj is a state champion wrestler, a state champion bull rider for the state of Montana, and a standout football athlete. They just finished their football season last Friday night, and he didn't play. He's getting ready for the finals, but he uh, he embodies what I feel Indian country is. We're survivors. He comes from Browning, Montana, which isn't a highfalutin community by any means. It's real life, and he works harder than every other football player, every other wrestler. He and the thing I love about Taj, he does it on his own. He doesn't have anybody telling him, get up. If you want to be successful, you have got to do this. And he pushes everybody around him. And to me, I love. I'm probably his number one fan, and my wife's his rodeo coach, and that's how I get to know Taj so well. He he pushes. He'll go to a football game Friday night. He'll go to a bull riding. He'll drive all night after the football game. Go to a bull riding Saturday, Sunday, and then drive all night to be back to school Monday morning. That to me is the heart of a champion. And not only coming in here the tour champ, I got to visit with him on the way down. He is thinking world title. He's got 2 or 3 junior world titles. That's not enough. He's looking at gold buckle. And I asked him, so who am I looking out for this year? He gave me 4 names. He said it's going to be a knife fight between the 4 of us. That's where his focus is at. And I just absolutely love that about Taj.
Yeah, to kind of highlight Taj Wells and the adversity that goes through and how he's just going to take everything with a smile on his face. You know, we had the opportunity to call the state high school finals rodeo in Kalispell, the Montana high school finals. He was at the hotel. He got his stuff stolen. He still comes out and wins a state title. You know the story a little bit better than I do.
Yeah, he got his pickup broke into at the hotel that night. They stole everything but his helmet. Took his gear bag. I mean, pants, clothes, everything. Gear, bull rope. And so we passed the hat. There was a guy down at a tack store in Polson that had just happened to have a bull rope and what he needed. We got him the basics, and he comes in there, like you say, that weekend and rode like it was his last ride. No chaps, no fancy vest, no not Taj's style because he keeps the best stuff. That's what an athlete does. When to be the best, you got to have the best. He's never had this rope before. I think, it was so cool to see the heart that he has to come in there and not have his chaps, not have his gear, not be able to go through your routine, have all this new stuff, and then just go out there and I mean, not just rode him.
Mm-hmm.
He stuck it on him
Yes, he
and
did.
said, "I'm here to win this state title," and he did it.
Had his goals set high, but the performance was there regardless of what happened. That's what I love about Taj. And I told him that at the state finals. I had the chance to pull him aside and I said, you know what this reminds me of? There's a story about Jim Thorpe. For all of you at home who know who Jim Thorpe is, he is the greatest athlete of all time, and he's an Indian athlete as well. He was at the Olympics and he got both of his track spikes stolen. The story goes that he got those stolen, had to dig into a trash can, and he won medals at the Olympics
Right.
with a pair of 2 mismatched shoes. They weren't even the same size. Del Taja said that's kind of the thing. I mean, obviously, Jim Thorpe's the greatest athlete of all
Right.
time, but I told
Right.
Taja, said that's the kind of thing it takes to be great. You have to have that mindset. You have to have that championship mindset. And just to see that from him as a senior in high school, it's
Right.
one thing to be, it's his 5th time at the high school finals where he's been to the 5 times at the INFR and something like that were to happen. He's
Right.
like, oh, I got this locked up in the bag. But for those nerves to never have won a state title, have all of your stuff stolen, get new stuff, like you were talking about, go through a new routine, come out and win the high school state title, absolutely insane.
I, I think the coolest part that I noticed about that was if you didn't know Taj, you wouldn't have known he got his stuff stolen.
Mm-mm.
He didn't go crying around. He didn't, like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to. And that's one thing that I really noticed that weekend. If you didn't know him, he wasn't coming around like it was actually the high school board that went around. It wasn't my wife. It wasn't. It was the board that said we have to do something for this kid,
Mm-hmm.
and he probably would have still competed. I don't know how, but he didn't let that stop him. Like you're saying with Jim Thorpe, he went and he did what he had to do to compete, and that's why he's here as the tour champ because this ain't the only time he's going to be here. He'll be back for years and years until he decides to move on.
All right, Ray. Now to transition from the rough stock riding to the timed event side of things. Steer wrestling, your tour champ for 2024. Rooster Yazzie. My favorite name I'm going to read all week. I don't Rooster Yazzie and Hayo Yazzie. What other rodeo names do you want in your life? You know what I mean? Rooster Yazzie has absolutely crushed it this year. $10,236 strong in his steer wrestling. I thought last year was kind of going to be his year. I got to watch him. He was trying to get a little bit more of a paycheck last year in the in the qualifier, pardon me, and come out. And I thought he had a solid week, but it just could not line up.
And I think a lot of that comes down to the draw. He just didn't get the steer he needed that last run. He should have won it by all rights, but that's rodeo. you do what you can with what you got. And Rooster, that gold, I think the gold buckle is the only one that's eluded him here in the Indian Rodeo, uh, the INFR. And I knew as a young boy, the Yazzie family, that's a household name. Rooster, Hio, there's Coulter coming up. There's kids coming behind him. That's just the start.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan, the all around world champ, he's kind of the top of the pile in that family. They love everything about rodeo. They are rodeo. They embody what rodeo is, Indian rodeo. They rodeo as a family. And it's just been a matter of time. I've called it from the beginning when I was seeing him junior rodeo. He deserves a gold buckle, but as you and I well know, in rodeo, just because you deserve it doesn't mean the 15 other guys are going to hand it to you. You got to come in here and be a player, and I expect no. This guy's going to bring a performance, and if it's his year, I think he should get that gold buckle.
Well, and that's the thing I feel like with Rooster Yazzie is he is clutch.
Yeah.
What is the definition of clutch, right? The definition of clutch is being your best when your best is needed. Not just being the best. You have to be your best when the time is now. When it's right here, we're splitting it, and you got to go out and win something. Rooster Yazzie is going to be out there all week long.
He's going to be right in the middle of the fight.
In the mix. I mean, like you were talking about. So big things come from Rooster Yazzie, but tie down roping, Tour Champ 2024, World Champ of 2023, Dontre Goff.
He's coming to be back to back, and this kid, he can rope. I mean, he's from Oklahoma, and he trains horses. He comes in here and absolutely dominates. I don't know. This is probably going to be some mad tie-down ropers at me, but I don't know if there's anybody here with faster hands. When he gets to the ground, and when he gets off and gets down there,
that's fair.
It's his game. Again, we have the draw that's in play, but Dontre has been the guy with the target on his back for 2 years. And I've seen our tie-down ropers improving their game. As a matter of fact, one guy notable to me, Zay Not Afraid, who is coming in down in the top 10, he ran through a calf at rodeo. Sorry, he was like an 8 or something. So I've noticed how our world champ is pushing everybody to up their game to get qualified here. So they're, again, like we just talked about in the steer wrestling, they're not going to give it to him. They're going to make him bad. It's going to be, they're going to be in the trenches this week trying to figure this out for that gold buckle.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think last year it was a tight race with the Okies.
Yeah.
Dontre Goff, Norman Mitchell, who now resides in Lame Deer.
Yeah.
He's got Northern Cheyenne ties.
Got a family. He proposed on stage.
That's right. Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
But Big Norman.
Yeah.
That was a tight race last year.
Yep.
Dontre pulled away just by a little bit. So I'm not counting out everybody. I mean, Dontre, obviously, your tour champ, is coming in with a pretty comfortable lead. I mean, 1,000 plus.
That's another element. It's a clean slate here.
That's right.
We're not going by money won. We start fresh tomorrow night, and once you start, it's an aggregate of 4. How fast can you be in 4 runs?
Team roping, header, Kesley Phillips, 2024 Tour Champ. 2024 Tour Champ on the heeling side, none other than Mr. Miles John. What do you think?
This is a team that's hungry. Kesley Phillips has deserved a world title. He's been here, I don't know how many years, but probably almost every year since the INFR's been here. He is one of the quickest headers here. He lets it go fast. He can come over the chute with it, and he's just a talented roper that's mounted exceptionally, and that's why he's the tour champ this year. Miles John has won the world a couple times. He's roped with Ty Romo, Eddie Hawley. He is a talent to be reckoned with. And when you get a steer turned in front of Miles, I think in the years that I've been announcing him, I've only seen him leg a steer once. And so that's a resume, quite a resume.
To only leg up one time.
Yeah,
that you've seen.
I've seen a lot of him,
exactly.
too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have been around Indian rodeo since, I don't know, however long I remember, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this has been the new wave of things, and you've kind of helped jumpstart this, and you've gotten the opportunity to see a lot of talent come in and out of the doors here at the South Point Arena.
Right.
and it doesn't stop this year. Let's talk about the healer a little bit. Miles.
Miles John, yeah, he's mounted good. He's a world champ. He loves producing ropings. He loves everything about roping. He loves being a team roper, and he loves the competition. And that's what you got to have when you're here. You have to crave that competition. You have to want to be ready to come into the battle and know that all your preparedness is what brought you to this moment. And I definitely look forward to him being a player here as well.
Because with that aggregate setting on how we decide who the best of the best is here in Indian country, in the rodeo world, nothing is given. Like you were saying, like it doesn't matter
Right.
what you've done in the past. The money for the year, yeah, that may boost your confidence because you know what you're competing against
Right.
and how you've done throughout the year. But all chips are off the table
Correct.
in Vegas. Everything is a new ante. Everybody's max betting down here. Like it's a huge, huge playing field for opportunity here in Vegas.
Well, and we're in Vegas. We're in the gambling capital of the world, and we're talking about all the high money winners for the year. But you just said it. You don't want to forget we're in Vegas. There's sleepers here, people that we're not talking about. That there's people going out here at the South Point that put that 20 in that slot machine, and they may hit the jackpot this week. Like you say, it's anybody's game.
The analogy carries over into the rodeo world. Let's talk about the two ladies, the tour champs. Breakaway roping, Caden Jody, $12,000 earned. Caden Jody, outstanding work on the summer. Barrel racing, household name. Miss Domination in the barrel racing, Tara Seaton. Ray, what do you think?
I'm gonna start with Caden. Huge fan of Caden. I don't know if you remember last year. She's probably one of the most experienced hazers in the steer wrestling here. And guys, they're picky about their hazers. Steer wrestlers, they don't let just anybody ride. They're not going to come up and say, Ryan, Ray, I need you to haze for me. They're going to watch each and every one of these hazers, and they're going to say, there's my hazer. And she probably had the most runs of anybody here last year.
I think she hazed round 10.
Right?
For
Right.
around 10 different contestants, not just 10 times.
Right.
She was hazing 10 times
Per night.
exactly, which is insane.
Yeah. But
Calling
she's that
her.
good.
She's a cowgirl.
She's a cowgirl.
She's
She's
an
a
Indian
horsewoman, and she belongs here in the breakaway roping. We had a heartbreaker last year. Probably should be coming in back-to-back world champ. I mean, you can put all the scenarios out there, but definitely deserves to be here. Definitely a talent to be reckoned with, and I guarantee you she's going to be no slouch here because the competition in the breakaway roping is probably the best I've seen since we've started here.
Big year 2024. Congratulations, Caden Jody. $12,500 in. We're looking forward to seeing her tonight. All ready for the back number ceremony. We'll give away checks tonight as well. Let's go to the barrel racing. Tara Seaton, $22,900 earned. Almost $23,000 just in the Indian rodeo world. Let's talk about the household name we have there with Miss Tara Seaton.
She's a returning two-time world champ. I know one for sure. I'm excited to see what she's riding. That's going to be a big part of her success this week. She has her indoor horse. She has her outdoor horse. The one thing I wanted to know was you mentioned that 22,000, second place 12,000. That means so we go back hotter than a gravy train with biscuit wheels. That's Miss Tara Seaton coming in here this week. You got a $10,000 lead over second place. What else do you expect? It should be a walkaway, and it'll be interesting to see.
But last year, rewind 365-ish, close to 365 days ago, in this very arena, we watched a very, very, very tight race in the barrels.
Right.
Couple tip barrels cost a couple ladies the world.
Definitely.
Places were moved. The youngster last year, Grayson O'Connor, won the juniors as well as the open. But Tara Seaton this year, I think if we can put together solid runs every single day, no tip barrels, she's got the horsepower to do it. She's got the experience to do it. Now we just need all pieces of the puzzle to come together again for year number 48 here here in Vegas.
I agree 100%. It comes down to the energy in the building, comes down to the horsepower, and you keep them barrels up. You know, these horses are going to start getting shorter every run on the pattern, and as long as you can keep them freed up, keep them getting around them barrels, she's going to do fine.
Let's talk about the juniors and seniors as well, Ray. Junior barrel racing, tour champ Quinley Inman. Junior breakaway champion Coulter Yazzie. We've talked about the Yazzie last name and what we've seen in the past and what we're expecting to see. Looking forward to that. Win Lawrence, big name I'm going to have an asterisk by in the junior bull riding. He was your junior bull riding world champ for the year. Really looking forward to what he's going to have to do. Eric C. Watson is your senior breakaway tour champ, your senior team rope and header tour champ, Leonard Williams, and your senior team rope and heeler, Mr. Lucius Sells. Famous names in the juniors and seniors, some new names that we haven't seen in a long time, but big things to come in 2024. Congratulations to our juniors and seniors. Looking forward to your finals run. Some of you we've seen already, the juniors. Looking forward to big things 2024. Ray, I want to talk about what we're going to see this week. You and I have talked about it in the past. Lots of new faces in the contestant. Excuse me. Ray, I want to talk about what we're going to see this week. A lot of new faces in the contestant world. Big things to come. We've got some new faces, some new players, people who have a very realistic chance to come in as new players and win a world championship. But also, we got some household names. Let's highlight that a little bit.
Well, and that's why we're here. This is why we do what we do. These guys practice all year long. They rodeo all year long to come, and the carrot on the end of the stick is the gold buckle. So and what's great about it is seeing all these new faces is the household names are attracting the new faces, and it makes for better competition. You know, we always talk about iron sharpens iron. Well, these new faces are going to keep the veterans sharp. And if the veterans stumble, we're going to see a new face on stage Saturday night.
Exactly. No, and that's the main thing that I want to highlight too is, like you're saying, nothing is given.
No.
These veterans, a lot of gold buckles are still up on the day sheets. There's
Right.
a lot of gold buckles still on the day sheets, but there are also the new blood that's just itching for one of those people to stumble.
Right.
They're rooting them on. Yeah, it's the rodeo world. Everybody's your biggest supporter, but when it comes to when it comes to competing, those seniors and those people who have been here for a while better be on their A game, because a lot of these new faces, they're not going to be giving anything out either.
Right. There's one goal in mind this week here at the South Point. That's to win a world championship, and everybody's going to be bringing their all. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. So, I'm looking forward to an exciting week working with you, working here at the finals, and I'm looking forward to congratulating winners and seeing how the chips fall come Saturday night in the showroom.
Indian Country, this has been the INFR After Hours. We kind of wrapped up, put a stamp on a $2.3 million year in the INFR world. $2.3 million we paid out this year, and we're not done yet. The final chapter has still yet to be written. My name is Ryan Davis. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys throughout the week.